I will tell you another reason why today the country weeps and bleeds, as Shakespeare says. It weeps and bleeds for a man who literally bled, killed and brutalized by a fanatic mob in Benghazi. And the reaction of our leadership was not anger, not fury, not the terrible swift sword, but to the bleeding, the slaughter, the spectacle, it was bleating, a sheepish state of weakness and wondering aloud by the Secretary of State and others whether our own freedoms, our own constitutional freedoms, go just a bit too far. A Muslim mob brutalizes and murders an American ambassador, a representative of the United States of America, to disgrace him and to disgrace us. They would murder us and brutalize us too, all of us. And our government reacts by shuddering and shaking and wondering at the consequences of our First Amendment. It blames an inconsequential fool of a filmmaker with a paltry influence for the venom unleashed in another part of the world. God help us. God help us. Well, it's another line in Macbeth about methinks I hear a voice. Well, methinks we hear a couple of voices. In the midst of this, there was a voice, one of Mitt Romney. He did not hesitate. He thundered this: I'm outraged by the attacks on American diplomatic missions in Libya and Egypt, and by the death of an American consulate worker in Benghazi. It's disgraceful that the Obama administration's first response was not to condemn attacks on our diplomatic missions, but to sympathize with those who waged the attacks. Mitt Romney. And whatever timing and wording or parsing one may want to bring up, one may want to suggest as an improvement on his remarks, his words had a shock effect, didn't they? They had the shock effect because they were true. When they are condemned so broadly, so almost universally among the establishment press, it is likely that they are true. Mr. Romney was talking about this attack. He was talking about other things as well, wasn't he? He was talking about a history. His words had a shock effect because in addition to being true, they were an unveiling, a revelation, a stripping away, and showing the feckless core of belief and sentiment that now animates leadership in America. Where do we stand with this part of the world? Where do we stand with Muslims who would do this to us? Where do we stand with a country which hesitates to respond? Is it an ally? Is it not an ally? We don't know. The answer is unclear. Much of the press, of course, quickly jumped in on Romney to kill this truth in the womb, something it is well practiced at. But that revelation and that truth will not die, or so I hope.